If you're lying in bed at night and your feet feel like they're on fire or your hands go so numb you have to shake them awake before you can do anything in the morning, I need you to stop everything right now and stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I'm about to share with you today is something I genuinely wish more people over 60 understood before the damage gets to a point where it becomes much harder to turn around. There is a specific reason this is happening inside your body. It is not simply aging. It is not something you just have to live with. And the answer is something so straightforward that most people, when they hear it, feel a mix of relief and frustration, that nobody connected these dots for them sooner. I'm Dr. Robert Harrison. I've spent years working specifically with adults over 60, dealing with nerve-related symptoms that conventional medicine tends to either overcomplicate or underrest. And what I keep seeing over and over is the same deficiency sitting at the root of the problem, undetected, untreated, getting worse every single day. Before we go any further, I want you to do one thing right now. Drop a comment below this video. Tell me, are you dealing with tingling, burning, or numbness in your hands or feet? How long has it been going on? Weeks, months, years? I read every comment personally, and what you share helps me understand exactly what you need from me next. Now let's check in together before I explain anything. Be honest with yourself right now. Do your feet tingle or burn when you finally lie down to rest at night? Do your hands feel numb or stiff first thing in the morning before you've had a chance to move around? Have you noticed that small tasks, fastening a button, picking up something small, turning a key, have become harder than they used to be? Do you sometimes feel unsteady when you stand up or walk across a room? Like your feet aren't quite connecting with the floor the way they should? Is there a low-level burning sensation somewhere in your legs or feet that never fully goes away, even on a good day? If any one of those describes you, your nervous system is sending out a distress signal right now. And here's what I need you to understand about that signal. It is not just discomfort. It is not something to manage with pain relievers and push through. Nerve damage that goes unaddressed in adults over 60 has a trajectory. The tingling becomes numbness. The numbness becomes loss of sensation. Loss of sensation leads to falls, injuries, loss of confidence, and a withdrawal from the physical independence you have spent your whole life building. This is not a small thing, and the longer the underlying cause goes uncorrected, the narrower the window for meaningful recovery becomes. But here's what I want you to hold on to right now. Stay with me. Because the underlying cause in the majority of cases I see is something that can be corrected. And once it's corrected, the body has a remarkable ability to begin rebuilding what was lost. Let me explain what is actually happening inside your body. When these symptoms appear, your nervous system is essentially a vast communication network. Every sensation you feel, every signal your brain sends to your muscles, every piece of feedback your feet send back up to your brain when you're walking, all of it travels through nerves. And those nerves, to function properly, need a protective coating around them. Think of it exactly like the insulation wrapped around an electrical wire. The wire carries the signal. The insulation keeps that signal clean, directed, and protected from interference. When that protective coating on your nerves is healthy and intact, signals travel clearly. Your fingers feel what they touch. Your feet know exactly where the ground is. Your balance is steady because the feedback loop between your feet and your brain is working the way it's supposed to. But when that coating begins to deteriorate, signals misfire, they arrive distorted or they don't arrive at all. That is the precise biological mechanism behind the tingling, the burning, the numbness, and the unsteadiness you're experiencing. And here's the part that changes everything. Your body has the ability to repair and maintain that protective nerve coating, but only if it has one specific thing available to do the job. Without it, the repair process stalls. The damage continues. And because the deterioration is gradual, most people adapt to each new level of symptoms and assume this is just the direction life goes after 60. It isn't. Here's what's actually missing. There is one B vitamin that your nervous system cannot function without when it comes to maintaining and repairing that protective nerve coating. That vitamin is B1, also known as thiamine. And before you think you've heard this before, I want you to stay right here because the way most people approach B1 is precisely why most people don't get results from it. The form matters enormously, the dose matters, the timing matters, and there is one mistake I see constantly that quietly blocks everything. I'll cover all of it, but first, let me explain why so many adults over 60 are deficient in B1 and have absolutely no idea. Because this is where the story gets important. There are 3 reasons this happens, and and they compound each other in a way that makes the deficiency both common and almost invisible on standard testing. The first reason is something that begins happening in your digestive system starting around your late 50s and accelerates through your 60s. As we age, the stomach produces significantly less acid than it did in younger years. That reduction in stomach acid directly impairs your ability to absorb B1 from the food you eat. So even if you are eating foods that contain thiamine, whole grains, legumes, lean meats, your body may only be capturing a fraction of what's actually there. A healthy adult in their 30s might absorb 60 to 70% of the B1 in their food. After 60, that absorption rate can fall to 20 or 30%. Same meal, same nutritional content on paper, completely different outcome inside the body. The second reason is one that I bring up with nearly every patient I see over 60, and it consistently surprises people. Certain commonly prescribed medications actively deplete B1 from your body over time. Metformin and other diabetes medications are among the most significant. Diuretics, the water pills commonly prescribed for blood pressure and heart conditions, do the same thing. Certain heartburn medications, the ones that reduce stomach acid, compound the absorption problem I just described while simultaneously contributing to depletion. These medications are managing real conditions, and I am not suggesting anyone stop taking them. What I am saying is that they are solving one problem while quietly creating another. And in most cases, no one is monitoring B1 levels in response to that. People stay on these medications for a decade or more. Nerve symptoms slowly develop, and everyone attributes it to aging. The third reason is the one that catches even health-conscious people off guard. Modern food processing strips B1 out of a significant portion of what most people eat regularly: white bread, white rice, packaged and processed staple foods. These things make up a large portion of the average diet, and they are almost entirely empty of B1. Even people who are trying to eat well often don't realize how much of their daily food intake has had the B1 removed from it before it ever reached them. Put all three of these together: reduced absorption from aging, digestion, active depletion from common medications, and a food supply that has stripped out much of the dietary source, and you have a situation where B1 deficiency among adults over 60 is not rare. It is common. Research suggests up to a third of older adults are not getting adequate thiamine, and the number climbs substantially higher among people on the medications I mentioned. Let me bring this close to home for a moment. Think about whether this sounds familiar. You're going about your day doing nothing unusual, and you reach for something on a shelf or try to open a jar, and your hand just doesn't respond the way you expected. There's a lag or a weakness or a numbness that shouldn't be there. You shake your hand out and move on, but it keeps happening, and in the back of your mind, you've started wondering if this is just what your hands are going to be like from now on. That moment of wondering, that quiet resignation, is something I hear described again and again. And in the vast majority of cases, it is not inevitable. It is a deficiency, one that has a name and a solution. Now, here is exactly what to do. I want you to write this down or save this video, because I'm going to give you a specific step-by-step protocol. The first step is choosing the right form of B1. This is the most critical decision in this entire protocol, and the place where most people go wrong when they try to address this on their own. Standard thiamine supplements, the ones labeled simply as vitamin B1 or thiamine HCl, have a significant limitation. They are broken down and cleared from the body relatively quickly, which means they may not reach the nerve tissue in concentrations high enough to support repair. The form you need is called benotamine. It is a fat-soluble version of thiamine, which means it penetrates nerve tissue far more effectively, stays in your system significantly longer, and delivers to the places that need it most. When you go to purchase a supplement, pick up the bottle and read the label carefully before you buy it. You are looking for the word benotamine. If the label only says thiamine or B1 without specifying benotamine, it is a less effective choice for nerve repair. The difference in outcome between the two forms is not minor. It is substantial. The second step is getting the dose right. For active nerve symptoms in adults over 60, the therapeutic range supported by research is 150 to 300 milligrams of benotamine daily. If your symptoms are significant, if the tingling or numbness is affecting your daily life, start at 300 milliliters. If symptoms are milder or you're taking this preventively alongside other treatment, 150 milligrams may be your starting point. B1 is water-soluble, meaning your body uses what it needs and safely excretes the rest. There is no documented risk of toxicity at these doses. The third step is how you take it. Benotamine is fat-soluble, which means absorption is meaningfully improved when you take it with a meal that includes some dietary fat. Eggs work perfectly, so does avocado, a handful of walnuts, a drizzle of olive oil, a piece of salmon. Do not take it on an empty stomach or with a fat-free meal. The absorption difference is significant, and skipping this step is one of the main reasons people try this and tell me they didn't notice results. The fourth step is consistency and timing. Take your benotamine every morning with breakfast. B1 plays a direct role in energy metabolism, so morning is the right time. Taking it in the evening can interfere with sleep in some people. More importantly, take it every single day without gaps. Nerve repair is a biological process that runs continuously. It does not pause and wait for you to remember your supplement. Missed doses slow progress and can reverse gains that took weeks to build. Put the bottle somewhere you cannot miss it, next to the coffee maker on the breakfast table. Set a phone reminder if that's what it takes. Make it as automatic as brushing your teeth. Now let me tell you what most people actually experience when they follow this correctly. In the first week, the most common early shift is not in the nerves. It's in mental clarity. Brain fog that has become so familiar, people stop noticing it begins to lift. Thinking feels a little sharper. Words come a little more easily. Mornings feel less like wading through mud. Some people notice their mood stabilizes. These are signs that the B1 is reaching your system and your body is beginning to use it. Going into the second week, the nerve-specific changes begin to appear. The tingling may start to ease, particularly in the mornings when it's often worst. Hands may feel more responsive when you wake up. Feet may feel more connected when you take your first steps of the day. These are subtle shifts, but they are meaningful ones. They mean dormant nerve pathways are beginning to reactivate. By weeks 3 and 4, the improvements become consistent and trackable. The constant background tingling starts to quiet. You begin noticing texture and sensation returning when you touch things. Your balance feels more grounded when you walk. You're not compensating for unreliable feedback from your feet the way you were. Small tasks with your hands become easier. These are not minor improvements. These are the kinds of changes that shift how safe and capable you feel moving through your own home. By months 2 and 3, the shift becomes the kind that changes your daily life. The burning sensation that used to follow you through every evening is gone or dramatically reduced. The numbness has pulled back significantly. You are doing things you had stopped attempting. People who know you notice something has changed. You move differently. You engage differently. You show up differently because you're not managing pain and uncertainty every hour of the day. Think about what you've stopped doing in the last year or two because of this. Maybe you stopped driving at night because you couldn't fully trust your feet on the pedals. Maybe you gave up knitting or woodworking or anything requiring fine motor control in your hands. Maybe you stopped taking walks alone because the unsteadiness made you nervous. None of those things had to go. They went because your nervous system was running without the one compound it needs to maintain itself, and that compound is correctable. Now, before the action plan, there are 3 things I have to be direct with you about. First, get your B1 levels tested before you start. Ask your doctor specifically for a thiamine blood level test. This gives you a confirmed baseline and lets you track objective progress at your follow-up appointment. Don't skip this step. Testing turns a guess into a measurable plan. Second, if you have kidney disease or you are on multiple prescription medications, have a conversation with your doctor before adding any supplement. For most people, benotamine at these doses is very well tolerated. But if your medical situation is complex, that conversation matters. Third, if you are taking metformin, a diuretic, or a long-term heartburn medication, please raise the question of B1 monitoring with your doctor at your next appointment. These medications and their relationship to thiamine depletion are documented in the research literature. Your doctor should know you are supplementing so that your levels can be tracked and your medications adjusted if needed. One final point that most people don't hear: B1 works most powerfully as part of a team. Vitamins B6 and B12 are both directly involved in nerve health and nerve repair alongside thiamine. Many people see stronger and faster results from a high-quality B-complex supplement that uses benotium as the B1 source combined with at least 100 milligrams of B6 and 1,000 micrograms of B12. If you want to give your nervous system the most complete support possible, that combination is the way to do it. Here is your complete action plan this week. Ask your doctor to test your thiamine, B6, and B12 blood levels. Do not wait for the results before starting. Begin 150 to 300 milligrams of benotium daily with breakfast immediately. In week 2, add a high-quality B-complex supplement containing benotium as the B1 source, at least 100 milligrams of B6 and 1,000 micrograms of B12. Take it every morning with a meal that contains fat. From week 2 through week 4, keep a daily symptom log. Each morning, rate your tingling and numbness on a scale of 1 to 10. Each evening, do the same, 2 numbers a day. That simple record will make your progress visible instead of something you have to try to remember and estimate. At week 4, return to your doctor. Review your blood levels against your baseline. Walk them through your symptom log. The data will speak clearly. A few things that will strengthen everything I've described. Alcohol directly depletes B vitamins and will work against everything in this protocol. If you drink regularly, reducing that significantly will accelerate your results. Stay well hydrated. 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. Include B1-rich foods where you can. Whole grains, lentils, black beans, lean pork, and reduce heavily processed foods which have had the thiamine stripped out of them during manufacturing. This protocol works, but it only works if you work it consistently. Your nervous system does not heal in days. It heals over weeks and months of sustained, correct support. If this video described what you have been living with, please share it with someone over 60 who needs to hear it, because the odds are high that someone you know is sitting with these same symptoms and has been told it's just aging. It is not just aging, and they deserve to know that. Leave a comment right now. Tell me which symptom hit closest to home. Tell me whether you've been tested for B1 before. Tell me what you're going to do differently this week. I read every single one. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Everything I put out here is built specifically for adults over 60 who want real answers, not generic health advice that was never designed with them in mind. I'm Dr. Robert Harrison. Your nerves have not given up. With the right support at the right dose, in the right form, the repair process can begin. Give your body what it has been missing and then watch what it does with it.